Summer's here and suddenly even your broke friend is in Italy sipping Aperols like they weren't just complaining a week ago about not having money. So before you panic book a flight that you can't afford because you're scrolling through Instagram experiencing FOMO, let me show you how to budget for your summer trip without maximizing your cards and then regretting it in August. And if you've been thinking, there's no way I can travel, let alone this summer, you're not alone. What most people don't realize is that travel isn't about being rich. It's about knowing how to book, where to go, and most importantly, how to plan it all smartly. I've been traveling for over 1,000 days thanks to these 4 simple steps, and in this video, I'm breaking down exactly how you can use them too. So 2 months ago, I was flying back from Bali to Miami, and somehow, 24 hours before my flight, I got upgraded to the business class seats that I had been looking at months ago at such an outrageous price that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna skip it this time. Like, I'll just survive on those 2 14-hour flights. I got upgraded for a really good price. Definitely not what I was planning to pay like a couple months before. And when I got there, it kind of hit me that everybody in that business class section had paid an absolutely different price from each other. Like, we've all paid something completely different for the same seat on the same flight on the same day, going the same exact places. The only thing that changed is the date that we had booked that seat. The flight you want to buy today to Italy, that's $1,000, is probably the same one that Sarah just bought 2 weeks ago for $300. When I realized that, my mind went poof. That's why your dates are the #1 thing to know when you're planning and booking a trip. Not just the dates that you're traveling, but also the dates that you're actually sitting down to buy your entire trip. This also applies to hotels, Airbnbs, accommodations, even your activities. So according to my genius friend Chatty, for domestic travel, you should be buying it 6 to 8 weeks before. For international travel, 2 to 6 months in advance. It did add that for summer, you should be thinking to book as early as possible, 3 to 6 months ideally. And while a lot of people also talk about the Tuesday morning deals, as somebody who has booked many flights, I just don't think it's real. I do believe that prices fluctuate a lot over the weekend, but like that waking up early to book a flight on a Tuesday, I just don't agree. So is it too late now to book that trip for summer? No. But I do want you to ask yourself these 2 questions. Do you have to travel a specific date? And this applies whether you're flying all the way to Bali, wanting to book that all-inclusive in Cancun, or even booking that tent at your local state park. Because the reality is, summer is peak season anywhere and everywhere you go. And it's because of the school calendar. So if you're not in school or have kids or people traveling with you in school, why go those same exact dates? Oftentimes, what that means is that where you're going is going to be packed. You're probably going to be spending double, sometimes even triple, just for going on those dates. And you could possibly even be enjoying it way more by moving your trip up a couple weeks or down a couple weeks. And I get it. You might be saying, but it's the summer. I'm a beach girl, so I totally understand. However, what I realize is that when we imagine like that European summer and being out by the beach and those beautiful crystal clear waters, it doesn't just mean that we can do that only in July. Literally towards the end of August through September, I've even been in Italy in October at the beach, and it's been wonderful. Number 2, are you going based off of FOMO? Be real. So my recommendation is to just play around with Google Flights. You can move the date up, down, just see the difference in flights. Do the same thing with Airbnb and just check, because when I've done it, it completely changes the pricing. This is where it gets real good, and I am a huge advocate for this step because it blows my mind how people keep traveling to the same exact places without thinking outside the box. If you had to guess where this is, what would you say? How about this? This over here is actually Albania, and this one here is a small town on the outskirts of Rio. There are so many options based on what you love to do that are iconic, and they're hidden gem that could be saving you so much money instead of going to the main touristy spots. It blows my mind how many people will be in Italy this summer spending hours in line under the hot sun for a museum that they don't even really care about. Know what you like, whether it's going to the museum, hiking, being at the beach, foodie tours. Find hidden gems that would be just as cool to vacation in, and go where not everyone else is going this summer. Also, a summer trip doesn't mean that you have to cross the whole globe for it to be amazing. Because summertime is a time for activities, for being outdoors, and just everyone wanting to feel like they're on a vacation, it's a time when your spending will also go up. Sometimes even head to head with the holiday season, which is why knowing exactly what you can and can't spend on is so important. When it comes to budgeting, instead of looking at month by month, I like looking at the big picture quarterly. So calculate what you expect to be making for June, July, and August. sum all that up. Then calculate your basic spending for the same months, June, July, and August. This is a number that you should have at the top of your head. And if you don't, go back 12 months, look at your spending and grab the average. Now calculate that difference to know exactly how much you have left over in the quarter that you have the possibility to spend. The main reason why I like looking at quarterly versus monthly is because obviously if you travel one month, like in the month of July, your spending will go up. However, by looking at it quarterly, you don't see that as like, oh my God, I overspent that month. Like I feel so guilty about buying this gelato in Italy. No. You look at your quarterly allowance that you are able to spend, that you can afford, and you think about, okay, what can I prioritize? Is eating out in Italy going to be far more valuable and a better experience than going to that local brunch that I have all year right next to my house? Probably. So you decrease the month before and after so that you can prioritize spending while you travel. Make sure that you find a number and set that as your total spending cap for your trip. You need to know this number. Now what you're gonna do is make a list of activities that you prioritize. For example, do you prefer eating out in really nice restaurants or going shopping? Planning and knowing your spend doesn't mean not spending or feeling bad when you spend. It's knowing and prioritizing your spend on things that you actually value. Step 4 is probably the most uncommon, and actually the secret tip that has allowed me to continue traveling for over 1,000 days, and it's reframing the thought of spending on travel to how can I earn from travel? Now, this doesn't mean that everybody's gonna become an online travel guru, not at all. Let me explain, because it isn't exactly what it sounds like. What this means is asking yourself, how can I make the most out of this travel for it not to feel like a spend that you can't afford right now? So for example, can you tie the summer trip to something work-related, a conference, a meeting? Can you use the travel as inspiration for a new project or a new idea? Can you put yourself in places that will allow you to grow your network? I've had trips that ended up leading into client projects, new business partners, new ideas, or just somebody that I met that later on was going to have a huge ROI on my life. Now, if none of those seem to click or just match with what season you're currently in, this is the simplest and easiest one to make sure that you're earning from your travel. What credit card can I pay this travel with that will get me the most return? Most travel credit cards will actually give you 5 times or 10 times just by booking flights, hotels, car rentals through their online booking portal. If you're not sure which travel credit card is right for you, I just made a video on that, so make sure to click over here to watch it. And look, if the smartest move for you right now is holding off on a summer trip this year, maybe doing something smaller and giving yourself time to plan for the next year in advance, so you're actually taking advantage and buying that $300 ticket instead of $1,000, do that. That broke friend might be posting from Italy, April in hand right now, but you're playing the long game. You are setting yourself up to enjoy 10 times more April-filled summers and actually afford them, because now you know this 4 simple step process that makes the planning process possible. If this video helped you shift the way you think about summer travel, make sure to hit that like button so other people can also see it. And if you're curious about how to pick the best travel credit card in order to maximize your summer trip, watch this next.